Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to another episode of Daily News Analysis. I'm Ashish Bhargav. I hope you guys are doing well. आप सारे अच्छे होंगे and prepared for the Diwali celebration as well. So, in Daily Newspaper Analysis that we cover the Hindu from Indian Express and one more thing that we discuss about the Supreme Court and Supreme Court verdict, which is very important for the students who are preparing for the CLAT and AILET exam, and that we cover from the international news as well, international, which is known to be international relation, which is used to ask in your CLAT passes. So that is very important for the especially for the CLAT and AILET student, but not especially for only those students, that is not too confined for the CLAT and AILET. So we discussed most of the questions at the end of this YouTube session that is also important for the CUET examination. So if you haven't keep an eye on the newspaper, so that is very essential for the students who are preparing for the exam, and you will be able to solve the questions that is based on current affairs. So let's further moving. So here is the quote of the day: a little progress each day adds up to a big result. So daily efforts, if you will take on the in this ladder, so obvious that once you will reach over there, so you will find that कि आपको यहाँ पे जो भी चीज़ें जो भी what exactly you are looking for, so you will get it. And here is the quote of the day: the capacity to learn is a gift, the ability to learn is a skills, and the willingness to learn is a choice. So try to improve on your skills. And questions of the day, as we have taken initiative of questions of the day. So at the end of this YouTube session that we will ask you that 3 to 5 questions. That is very essential because you have to develop such kind of temperament, because I told you in the each and every session of this YouTube session that gathering information and solving questions, they are two different things. Sometimes you gather all the information but you are unable to solve the questions in the real examination. So that is a 3 to 5 question daily basis. If you will able to solve the MCQ, that will be very essential for the students. Here the first article is Justice Chandrachud appointed 50th Chief Justice of India. So as we know that Justice D.Y. Chandrachud and how the CGI is selected in our country, the one thing that you need to understand is collegium system. And the collegium system is responsible for transfer of judges of Supreme Court and as well as High Court judges, and we can say the appointment of CGI as well, Chief Justice of India. So 8th November 2022 को इनका जो है वो शुरू होगा, मतलब टाइम पीरियड टेन्योर शुरू होगा इनका. नाउ आपको क्या चीज़ें समझनी है, व्हाट एग्जैक्टली यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि जो कॉलेजियम सिस्टम है, हाउ मेनी मेंबर्स आर फ्रॉम द कॉलेजियम सिस्टम. सो देयर आर 5 मेंबर्स ऑफ कॉलेजियम सिस्टम including CGI, Chief Justice of India. So if you talk about Supreme Court Collegium, if you talk about High Court Collegium, so दोनों के आपके बंदे क्या होंगे कॉलेजियम सिस्टम में. कॉलेजियम सिस्टम आर solely responsible body to appoint the Chief Justice of India. There are many issues that it occurred, and as we can say that Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, his father is also the longest serving CGI in our country. So and the person has got got college from St. Stephen College, and he has done law in graduation from Delhi University and done Masters of Law from Harvard University. So the person is well educated, as we can say. Now while we further moving, the appointment of the CGI that we have discussed already. Which article? So is there any constitutional provision for appointment of CGI, Chief Justice of India? Yes. So Chief Justice of India and judges of Supreme Court are appointed by the President under Clause 2 of Article 124. So Article 124 need to be remembered, because as we know that the 50th CGI, which position CGI is here? 50th. And which article is Article 124. So as far as the CGI is concerned, the outgoing CGI recommended his successor. It means that in our country, judges appointed judges, right? So Union Law Minister forward recommendation to the Prime Minister, who is known to be a Council of Ministers के head होते हैं वो, who is turn advise the President. The Supreme Court Collegium headed by Chief Justice of India and comprises 4 other senior most judges of the court. So there is a 4 members and 1 CGI. So there are 5 members in collegium system. So collegium system basically is a system of appointment and transfer of judges that has evolved through judgment of the Supreme Court, judges cases, and not by an act of parliament or the provision of the constitution. In 2019, the Supreme Court ruled that Office of Chief Justice of India comes under the purview of Right to Information Act. Because the right to information is enshrined in our constitution, that every person, irrespective of any citizen, every government bodies, and the person is liable to give the information what exactly the person is looking for. Yes, there is some certain provision in the Right to Information Act, like in India's security agencies, like if we talk about NIA, National Investigation Agency, and we can talk about like CBI. So you cannot raise the questions like about the NIA, CGI, Intelligence Bureau. So that does not come the purview of Right to Information Act. So as we know that there is an article also, why does the Supreme Court Collegium hold primacy over transfer? So government unilateral delaying or segregating of names recommended by Supreme Court Collegium is affecting effective justice administration at post remain vacant without end. So appointment and transfer of judges in the Constitution Court is in participatory consultative process between the Supreme Court and the government. So there is a 5 members is there, for example, in Collegium, and that 5 member recommended the any person. So that person would be the CGI, because the law minister is bound to follow this. And in our country, as we know that, since we are celebrating, and we celebrated recently Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, but as we know that we do not have, since independence till now, a woman Chief Justice of India. There are members in Supreme Court panel. Supreme Court mein how many members? 34, including CGI. So there are 34 judges including CGI, but there are female also, but we can say that there is, since independence till now, we do not have Chief Justice of India. Still we have many initiatives to women empowerment, like we can say like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao schemes is also. There are many schemes that is for the, especially for the women, but despite having all these efforts, we do not have, since independence till now, Chief Justice of India. This is a matter of very serious concern. And the mandate of collegium system established the primacy of collegium led by CGI is 3 judges case. So when was collegium system started? So we can say that 3 judges case, it was started by the collegium system. And as we know that the executive element in the appointment process was reduced to the minimum, and any political influence was eliminated. It was this reason that word consultation instead of concurrence was used in the constitution. So there are many things that not need to go to the too much depth, because the reason behind, only the few things you need to recall: who is the Chief Justice of India, what is the position, 50th position, who is responsible for appointing CGI, that we can say Chief Justice of India is collegium system, how many members in collegium system, and which article is in our constitution to appointment of CGI is Article 124. This is all about the newses. Next is Interpol has no role in curbing state-sponsored terrorism, because in our country that we know that state, for the especially state is a subject of obvious that police is a part of state subject, and there are 3 lists in our constitution: state list, union list, and concurrent list. One more is residual list. So residual list is basically for those lists, basically for those one whose we can say that like one who is not enshrined till now in our constitution. So Interpol has no role in curbing the state-sponsored terrorism. And one more thing, that state में जो corruptions होती हैं, जो इसमें terrorism होती है, उसके लिए आपके पास कौन सी होती है? The responsible body is NIA, National Investigation Agency, and we can say that CBI. The 2% is working for this, and IB also, we can Intelligence Bureau. The 3 security agency that is using for this. Now you have to keep an eye that what exactly is Interpol is. So Interpol, that we can say Interpol is a secure information sharing platform that facilitates criminal investigation of police forces across the globe through collections and dissemination of information received from various police forces. So Interpol is, we can say, international organization which gives the information about the criminal investigation. Foundation, when it was started, the 1923 International Criminal Police Organization, that is known to be a Interpol. So here International Criminal Police Organization set up in 1923. And what is the structure of this organization? The head of the Interpol is president, who is elected by General Assembly. He comes from one of the member nation and holds office for 4 years. The duration and tenure we can say is 4 years. Day-to-day activities are overseen by a full-name Secretary General, also elected by General Assembly. So coordination among member countries, all contact of a country's law enforcement agency with Interpol is through the highest and investigation body of the land. The CBI assumed this role in India. So this is all about the Interpol and how the Interpol organize the day-to-day activities overseen in full-time Secretary General and all that we have already discussed. And CBI assumed this role in India with one of the senior officers heading its exclusive interviewing the International Central Bureau for collection of information and liaison with the world's body. And as we know that here is a red notice and yellow notice, blue notice, black, green, orange. So only the red, yellow and blue need to wanted person is for the red notice, missing person, yellow notice and blue notice for additional information. This is all about the notice of Interpol. Next article is at Defense Expo, India has pitched military tools to Africa IOR countries. So whatever the news is from, like we can say it's deriving about the defense organization in our country, you have to keep an eye. So India has undertaken a transformative journey from being the largest defense importer to an exporter. And who is our defense minister? Mr. Rajnath Singh. And he said that like we can say the certain razor event on 12th edition of Defense Expo. So which edition of the Defense Expo? 12th edition. And where is going to be held is Gandhinagar. And as we know, Gandhinagar is in capital of Gujarat. So only the few information you need to keep in mind. 12th edition of the Defense Expo is in Gandhinagar and Gandhinagar is the capital of Gujarat. So two major conclaves, second edition of both the India-Africa Defense Dialogue that we can say IADD and the Indian Ocean Region IOR, which is mentioned like IOR, which means Indian Ocean Region. Both will we can say plus conclave will see India pitching its military hard for the various country. So IADD, which means India-Africa Defense Dialogue, and IOR, which means that we can say Indian Ocean Region. The two will important events for promoting peace, security, and we can say prosperity and defense. Cooperation throughout the region and establishing new defense and industrial partnership. So Defense Expo 12th edition, the edition need to be remembered because they will ask you directly in your exam which edition of Defense Expo is going to help, and place must be remembered is Gandhinagar, Gujarat in March 2022. Defense Expo is a flagship biennial event of Ministry of Defense showcasing the land, naval, air as well as homeland. Defense sector reforms under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, revision of FDI limit. The FDI limit in defense manufacturing under automatic route is raised from 49% to 74%. Reduction in defense import bill, the government will notify a list of weapons platform banned for imports and thus such items can only be purchased from the domestic market. So as we know that in defense sector, the government is promoting like indigenous industries, indigenous defense sector, and as we know that the Prachand is India's first indigenous helicopter is launched by the Ministry of Defense with the collaboration of DRDO. So and HAL launched it, as we have discussed this article 3 days back. Next one is about 41.5 crore Indians out of multi-dimensional poverty since 2005 to 6. So as we know that India has by far the largest number of poor people worldwide at 22.8 crore, followed by Nigeria at 99.6 crore. There were also 9.6 crore poor children in India. There are many schemes, despite having many schemes that has been launched in our country, but we can say that we could not achieve the sustainable development goal that is in our UN SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. Goal number 2, that eliminate poverty. As we know that in hunger index, global hunger index, India is ranked in 107 out of 121 country. We are far behind Sri Lanka. We are far behind, we can say, Afghanistan, we are far behind, we can say Nepal as well. So this is matter of very serious concern for the country, whose we can say that as per the IMF report that we are third leading economic country, but despite having all the innovations, we are lagging behind in terms of poverty is concerned. So about 41.5 crore of people exploited excite poverty in India during the 15-year period between 2005 to 6 and 2019 to 21, and out of which 2/3 existed in the first 10 years and 1/3 in the next 5 years, according to Global Multidimensional Poverty Index released this year. The report produced by United Nations Development Program UNDP. So simply we can say who published this report is UNDP, United Nations Development Program, and we can say and the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative OPHI. So there are two bodies that is responsible to provide multidimensional poverty in our country is UNDP, United Nations Development Program, plus OPHI. What is OPI? Is Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative. So what is the reason for this? As we know that after COVID, at the time of COVID and now, that our country is lagging behind in terms of we can say in terms of innovation, in terms of we can say that the global MPI construct a deprivation profile of each household and person through 10 indicators spanning health, and second we can say education, and third we can say that standard of living. So all indicators are equally weighted within each dimension. So as we know that Bihar is the poorest state in 2015-16, saw the fastest reduction in MPI value in absolute terms. The incidence of poverty that fell from 77.4% in 2005 to 6 and 34.7% in 2019 to 2021. So despite the strides made, the reports note that ongoing task of ending poverty remains daunting. India has by far the largest number of poor people worldwide at 22.8 crore people. So that's why that we can say that we are lagging behind in terms of like we can say digital divide as well, and we can say multidimensional poverty index that is released by UNDP and OPHI. So it is launched by UNDP and OPHI, United Nations Development Program, and Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative. So MPI is based on not that poverty is not undimensional, not just depend on income, and one individual may lack several basic needs like education, health. There's a many index through which that we can check it out. The index show that proportion of poor people and the average number of deprivation each poor experiences at the same time. So MPI uses three dimension, that education, year of schooling, like we can say that gross enrollment ratio, GER. GER indicates that ki how many people as after 8th, after 10th is got schooling, but it means that कितने बच्चे वहाँ पे आए और कितने ने वहाँ पे एनरोलमेंट रखा अपॉइंट वहाँ पे, जैसे किसी ने 8th क्लास के बाद। आप देखेंगे हमारे कंट्री में जो ग्रॉस एनरोलमेंट रेशियो है वो आफ्टर 10th के बाद आपको अच्छी दिखेंगी। बिलो 10th में, 6th में, 7th में, 8th में वो आप देखेंगे कि स्कूल से वो हमेशा क्या करते हैं, वो दे आर नॉट विलिंग टू स्टडी. There are many circumstances that is responsible for this. Poverty is also one of the reasons. Second, like we can say, not the parents' initiative, taking initiative for this. So ये ग्रॉस इनरोलमेंट रेशियो जो है हमारा वो बहुत कम है अगर बिलो 10th की बात करें तो. तो चाइल्ड मोर्टालिटी, न्यूट्रिशन नहीं मिलती है, खाना खाने के लिए जो हमारे पास है तो उसमें आप देखेंगे देयर चाइल्ड स्टंटिंग एंड चाइल्ड वेस्टिंग, चाइल्ड मोर्टालिटी, इट इज ऑल्सो रिस्पॉन्सिबल. स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ लिविंग ऑल्सो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं है, फ्लोरिंग, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, सैनिटेशन, कुकिंग, फ्यूल, एसेट्स, देयर आर मेनी एसेट्स दैट वी कैन सी दैट. नेक्स्ट वन इज पीएम मोदी इनॉग्रेट्स वन नेशन वन फर्टिलाइजर स्कीम. So PM Modi inaugurates One Nation One Fertilizer Scheme. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated 600 Kisan Samriddhi Kendra, Kisan Samriddhi Kendra, that one nation, one fertilizer scheme and said that steps were being taken to modernize agriculture. As we know that as per the Ministry of Agriculture data that we have 55% of people still dependent on the agriculture if you talk about the rural India. So Gandhi ji once said like India is the village of the rural people, so it means that भारत गाँवों का देश है, उन्होंने कही थी. और आप इसमें देखेंगे कि यहाँ पे एग्रीकल्चर में क्या है, there is a term disguised unemployment. Disguised unemployment क्या होती है? Disguised unemployment which means we can say that more than required. There are two people is working somewhere in the farm और उसमें और आप और दो लोग और ज़्यादा काम करें, which is not required. So that's why इसमें there are many farmers in our country. We have great potential. आप देखेंगे इतने डिस्पाइट हैविंग द गवर्नमेंट लॉट्स ऑफ इनिशिएटिव, किसान सम्मान निधि, किसान कृषि योजना, बट आप देखेंगे चाइना इज वर्ल्ड लीडिंग प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ राइस, बट इंडिया हैव अ ग्रेट पोटेंशियल. If you talk about the green revolution has started, and who started green revolutions? In green revolution we have started like high yield variety seed, and that time MS Swaminathan, who is the founder of green revolution in our country, as India produced lots of hectare ton in our country, but especially got benefited from the Punjab, Haryana, and we can say Western UP. Why the only three parts of the country is benefited from the green revolution? The reason behind why not that we can say like Bihar, why not Madhya Pradesh? Reason behind the high yield variety seeds required more water for the irrigating the land. So that's why the state who is very poor is not able to afford this. This is what exactly one nation, one fertilizer schemes. So one nation, one fertilizer, Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizers has announced it is not Ministry of Agriculture. Keep in mind, one nation, one fertilizer, whose ministry is responsible, Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizer have announced it has been decided to implement one nation, one fertilizer by introducing single brand for fertilizers and logo. Under the fertilizer subsidy schemes, Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Janvarak Pariyojana. Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Janvarak Pariyojana. So what is the one nation, one fertilizer scheme? Under UNOF, companies are allowed to display their name, brand, logo and other relevant product information only on 1/3 space of their bags. So on the remaining 2/3 space, the Bharat brand and Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Urvarak, which means fertilizers को हिंदी में कहते हैं उर्वरक. So उर्वरक which means fertilizer. As we know that इंडिया में आपकी जितने भी गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स लॉन्च करती है वो सारी हिंदी में होती है. सो दैट्स वाई आपको इसमें ये पता होना चाहिए कि आप इसको रिमाइंड कर सकते हो फर्टिलाइजर. परियोजना विच मीन्स नो दैट स्कीम. सो प्रधानमंत्री भारतीय जन उर्वरक योजना लोगो विल हैव टू बी शोन. सिंगल ब्रांड यूरिया, डाई अमोनियम फॉस्फेट, डीएपी, म्यूरिएट टू पोटाश, एलम, ये सारी टेक्निकल चीज़ें हैं. यूरिया जो है उसमें आपको पता है कि एक फर्टिलाइजर की तरह वर्क करता है. भारत डीएपी, भारत एमओपी, भारत एनपीके. सो as we know that आपको इसमें समझने लिक्विड नानो यूरिया क्या है. This scheme applies to both public and private sector companies. So this scheme is for public, both private and public sector companies, not only for the public sector companies, it is also for the private sector company. It will bring about uniformity in fertilizer brands across the country. India is hoping to end its reliance on imported urea within the next 4 hours till 2025. And what is nano urea? It is the urea in the form of nanoparticle. It is nutrients which is in the liquid form to provide nitrogen to plants as an alternative to the conventional urea. Urea is a chemical nitrogen fertilizer, white in color, which artificially provides nitrogen, a major nutrients required by plants. And it is developed to replace conventional urea, and it can curtail the requirement of same at least 50%. The first liquid nano urea plant is inaugurated in Kalol, which is Gujarat. This is a spelling mistake. Next is today weapon of choice is spending dimension. This is again that we can say talk about the cyber security, that cyber zone operations which fall outside traditional concept of conflict have become to a new battleground. So gray zone operations already is in our country. So this is basically talking about cyber attacks. As we can know that Pegasus is launched. There are many malware, many spyware and ransomware, the three parts that we can say that is known to in the cyber security is concerned. So cyber security is protecting cyberspace including critical information infrastructure from attack, damage, misuse, and economic espionage. Cyber warfare offensive. The United States is just one of the many countries that has invested significant amounts of money in developing of just defense against attacks. So there are many initiatives taken by the government of India. Cyber Surakshit Bharat initiative, Cyber Swaksh Kendra, online cyber crime reporting portal, India Cyber Crime Coordination Center I4C, National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Scheme NCIPC, Information Technology Act 2000, and National Cyber Policy 2013. Next article, if you talk about a recovery analysis that points out that India government wrong. This is simply that we can say that the focus is on the fiscal policy. So fiscal policy and income inequality. The role of taxes and social spending aggregates evidence on social spending and tax from across the world, and we can say comes to similar conclusion regarding the importance of fiscal policy and post-pandemic recovery. This is all about the article. What is the government initiative in this? So there are many initiatives taken by the government of India that we can say that one more is that Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. So Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, and a scheme to continues mainly because the undeniable household level distress. So Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, as estimated cost, as we can say, more than 3.9 lakhs crore. But how the beneficiary is getting the benefit? One was FTP should focus on the nitty-gritty. So the Commerce Ministry once again defer the launch of new foreign trade policy. Foreign trade policy. The current FTP from 2015-20 extended thereafter till March 2023 is in policy documents that spell out the objective and strategy to boost exports. So as we know that the current account deficit, and what is current account deficit is that in किसी भी country की अगर economy बहुत अच्छी है, it means that वो आपको export में बहुत अच्छा होगा, import बहुत कम करता होगा, it means अपने यहाँ से product ज़्यादा भेजता होगा और बाहर country से सामान कम लाता होगा, तो it means उसकी country की forex reserve बहुत अच्छी होती होगी. Similarly, that we can say that the government also feels the operational issues are recurring in the nature and can be handled throughout the year. There are 4 major operational challenges that deserve utmost attention. First, the remission of duties and taxes of export products. It means that अगर गवर्नमेंट कम टैक्स लगाएगी अगर एक्सपोर्ट के लिए, तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है कि हमारे एंटरप्रेन्योर हैं that will do pretty well. Secondly, there is a long list of pending cases of redemption which replaced to advance authorization schemes due to the import condition. Thirdly, the government introduced the manufacture and other operations customer warehouse. So it means that warehouse is very important. And fourth, import and subject to compliance with domestic laws are outlined in the foreign trade portfolio and foreign trade, they can say, policy. One is that how does tokenization prevent online card fraud? So this article is very, very important. So Reserve Bank of India ने mandate किया tokenization of credit and debit card for online merchant from October 1. So what is tokenization? So basically we can say that tokenization में होता क्या है? In short and simple lucid language में समझने की कोशिश करें कि एक इंसान है यहाँ पे, उसका नाम है for example we can say सुरेश को यहाँ पे शॉप पे जानी है और यहाँ पे आपको शूज़ परचेज करनी है. फॉर एग्जांपल यहाँ पे शूज़ परचेज करनी है, तो सुरेश यहाँ पे जैन में विजिट किया, क्रेडिट कार्ड से स्वाइप करी इसने और शू वाले के पास, जो भी बाटा के शूज़ हैं, जिस कंपनी के भी शूज़ हैं, उनके पास इनकी कार्ड की डिटेल्स आ गई. सुरेश को जब मार्च में जाना होगा, उसे कार्ड की डिटेल नहीं, बस अपना नाम वो बताएगा, उसकी कार्ड की डिटेल इनके पास सेव होती थी. सो गवर्नमेंट ने इसके ऊपर बताया कि कार्ड डिटेल अगर सेव है तो उससे क्या है कि आपके जो सिक्योरिटी है समहाउ इज अ वायलेशन. तो क्या किया उसके बाद उन्होंने कि ये कार्ड डिटेल्स को बंद करने के लिए इन्होंने कहा कि जो शू कंपनी है वो एक टोकन इशू करेगी इसको, कि अगर आप मार्च में आते हो अप्रैल में आते हो एक टोकन इशू कर, वो जो कार्ड की डिटेल इनके पास सेव थी वो दोबारा यूज नहीं होगी, एक टोकन देंगे, वो टोकन से आपको आइडेंटिफाई कर लेंगे। यस, टोकनाइजेशन इज समथिंग लाइक वी कैन से उस शू के को ऑनर को आप दिखाने के लिए कि उस शू कंपनी में आप गए थे वो आपको टोकन इशू करेंगे। So basically we can say that tokenization refers to replacement of actual card details. जो actual card detail है उसको नहीं दी जाएगी and with an alternative code called the token. अरे simply जैसे आप किसी मंदिर में जाते हो तो मंदिर में आप शू रखते हो तो आपको उसके बाद टोकन देते हैं। Similarly, तो token is and we can say having a ownership of the we can say of that shoe. So tokenization refers to replacement of actual card details with an alternative code called the token, which shall be unique for a combination of card and token requesters, that is, an entity which accepts the request from the customer for tokenization of card and pass it to the card network to issue a corresponding token. आप देखेंगे जो बहुत सारे जो दिल्ली में मॉल हैं वहाँ पे आपको जहाँ पे हमारे फूड प्लाजा टाइप से होती है तो वहाँ पे आप देखेंगे फूड कोर्ट में क्या करते हैं, उनकी बहुत सारी शॉप्स होती हैं। जैसे आपने देखा होगा यहाँ पे KFC है, यहाँ पे डोमिनोज है, यहाँ पे कोस्टा है, यहाँ पे स्टारबक्स है। इनकी एक टोकन यहाँ पे लेनी पड़ती है। इस टोकन में क्या है कि आप ऑनलाइन कार्ड से पेमेंट करा आपने और ये आपके पास एक ना स्वाइप देंगे वो, ठीक है, फूड कोर्ट का। उसमें फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने 2000 रुपीज़ डाल दिए, उन्होंने आपकी कार्ड से इसमें 2000 रुपीज़ डाला, उसमें उस 2000 रुपीज़ को आप KFC में जाओ, यहाँ पे जाओ, यहाँ पे ये जितने भी शॉप से अंदर आपको ये कार्ड इशू जो यहाँ पे इन्होंने किया है वो एक्सेप्ट करेंगे इसे। आपका एक्चुअल क्रेडिट और डेबिट कार्ड यहाँ एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेंगे वो। फॉर एग्जाम्पल आप इसमें से आपने 1800 रुपीज़ ही खर्च कर पाए तो आपको लास्ट में या तो 200 रुपीज़ आप ले सकते हो उनसे कि हाँ जी मैंने इतना ही आपको खर्च करा, और बाद में या तो आप उसे नेक्स्ट टाइम जब आप विजिट करोगे तो उसे आप यूज़ कर सकते हो। दिस इज व्हाट अबाउट इज टोकनाइजेशन। So tokenization of a card and passes to the card network to issue corresponding token. And why the tokenization necessary? Because when you visit a restaurant or even an ATM machine, it is possible for card thieves to clone your card within schemers. तो आप ATM मशीन में देखेंगे कि स्कीमर लगा देते हैं, उसमें आपकी कार्ड की डिटेल क्या होती है आ जाती है, सो दैट कि वो फ्रॉड को कम करने के लिए RBI ने ये मैंडेटरी करा अक्टूबर 1 से। So when you visit a restaurant, तो obvious that ATM machine is जो schemers होते हैं, gadget will quietly reads the magnetic strips of the back of your card. Similarly, hackers can also break into the online website and mobile apps that store your credit card details. तो इसको avoid करने के लिए हमने क्या use किया? That we had used that tokenization. What are the benefit of tokenization? Obvious the hackers, scammers जो होंगे were to get their hands on one's token number, they would not be able to make any indiscriminate use of it. Popular card network like Visa further explain the concept of tokenization through the example of a metro train ticket. It is useful only for that route and not for any other. Similarly, the unique token generated by a specific site is only applicable on the site and nowhere else. And if an undesirable third party gains access to that specific token and shops with a specific website and chance to identifying the party and more their logins and phone details. So, however, regardless of whomever you shop with, be it Amazon or Ola or Swiggy, the app should ask your permission to use your credit card details for it to tokenize your card. This is all about the tokenization of online card. Just में आपको already we have discussed about. So tokenization card transaction considered safe and as actual and card details are not shared with the merchant during transaction process. This is all we have already discussed. How the tokenization transaction is different? It is a regular card transaction processed. First में payment initiative होगा, इसमें card details sent to the merchant and acquiring bank, whatever the bank card you are using it. Third step में acquiring bank forward to request to the issuing bank or card users. Fourth में stage में क्या होगा, जो issuer होंगे bank accept or reject the transaction and respond. Fifth स्टेज transaction complete होंगी. And tokenization card process ऐसे यहाँ पे card details are transmitted and saved to the each step. तो सेकेंड टाइम आप कार्ड डिटेल्स नहीं, आपको एक जो आपका मर्चेंट होगा आपको एक टोकन देगा कि हाँ जी ये नेक्स्ट टाइम वंस यू विल विजिट द सेम स्टोर तो आपको उसमें उसी टोकन को यूज करेंगे. कुणाल अग्रवाल, वेरी गुड आफ्टरनून कुणाल. सो टोकनाइजेशन कार्ड ट्रांजेक्शन इस टाइप से हमारी प्रोसेस होती है. दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. हिंदी इम्पोजिशन एंड इट्स डिसकंटेंट, अगेन आप देखेंगे यहाँ पे जो रिकमेंडेशन थी पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी की, ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज टू यूज हिंदी एज अ मीडियम ऑफ इंस्ट्रक्शन इन सेंट्रल इंस्टीट्यूशन ऑफ हायर एजुकेशन हिंदी स्पीकिंग स्टेट्स। अभी आपने देखा कि एमपी में एमबीबीएस कोर्स को लॉन्च किया हमने, जो हमारे अमित शाह जी ने, तो उन्होंने क्या बताया कि हिंदी वुड बी द मैंडेटरी। सो टेक्निकल कोर्स लाइक बीटेक और उसको भी हमने हिंदी में लॉन्च करा। सो ये रिपोर्ट रिकमेंड करती पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी की कि हिंदी को यूज़ करने के लिए टू प्रमोट द हिंदी लैंग्वेज एज वेल। So different point of leaders like starting from Jawaharlal Nehru in the mid 1950s assured the people of Tamil Nadu and there would be a no imposition of Hindi. So obviously उनके रीजनल लैंग्वेज तमिल है तो उसमें वो यूज़ करना चाहते हैं, दे आर वेरी प्रेफर्ड। और उसमें न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसीज लाई थी, रिपोर्टेड द 8th लैंग्वेज नेशनल हाईवेज जो था तमिलनाडु की गेटिंग रिप्लेस्ड बाय द हिंदी। और इसमें बहुत सारे इश्यूज थे, स्टेट के क्लैशेस होते हैं क्योंकि सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट चाहती है कि हिंदी को इम्पोज करने के लिए, और जो साउदर्न स्टेट्स हैं दे आर प्रेफर टू यूज देयर ओन लैंग्वेज। तो इसमें और कुछ आर्टिकल्स में है नहीं। नाउ इट्स टाइम टू क्वेश्चंस ऑफ द डे। सो क्वेश्चन ऑफ द डे दैट आई थिंक यू गाइज आर रेडी टू सॉल्व द क्वेश्चंस नाउ। सो हियर द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, दिस वन। Article 340 of the Constitution of India provides the appointment of commission to investigate the condition for the improvement of women and children, disabled population, transgender person and backward classes. Take your time. It was in the newspaper article, Article 340 of the Constitution of India. It's women and children, disabled population, transgender person and backward classes. Obvious the option would be D. Article 340 of the Constitution of India provides for the appointment of commission to investigate the condition of improvement of backward classes. The President may be ordered to appoint a commission comprising of such person that he thinks fit to investigate the condition of socially and educationally backward classes. Article 340 of the Constitution resulted in 2 backward classes commission. The Kaka Kalikar Commission 1953 to 1995 and Mandal Commission which is for the अदर बैकवर्ड कास्ट के लिए हमने बात की थी फर्स्ट टाइम, दैट इज अ मंडल कमीशन 1978 to 80, जिसमें आपको ओबीसी को 2 पार्ट में डिवाइड किया गया था, क्रीमी लेयर एंड नॉन क्रीमी लेयर। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज कंसीडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स रिगार्डिंग नेशनल इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड NIIF. So NIIF is a government backed entity established to provide long term capital to India infrastructure sector. Government of India has a majority stake in NIIF. It is registered with SEBI as a category 2nd alternative investment fund. Waiting for your response, student. Please respond that which could be the right answer. Okay. So the answer will be here. National Investment and Infrastructure Fund (NIF) is a government-backed entity established to provide long-term capital to country infrastructure sector. Indian government had 49% stake in NIF, with the rest held by foreign and domestic. NIF is considered India's quasi-sovereign wealth fund. It was set up in 2015 as a category 2nd alternative investment fund. Next one is Vigyan Jyoti scheme, sometimes seen in the news, is related to empowering girls in science, technology, engineering and mathematics (STEM), providing a scholarship to meritorious students of economically weaker sections, providing support to out of school children and empowering girls in foundation literacy and numeracy. Vigyan Jyoti scheme. Vigyan, which means we can say that science. So obvious that option. Which option would be appropriate? Obvious answer would be A. Department of Science and Technology started a unique program, Vigyan Jyoti, for meritorious two girls with the aim to address the under representation of women in different fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics (STEM) in the country. At first step, Vigyan Jyoti has been introduced in the year 2019 and 20 at the school level, wherein meritorious girl students in class 9 to 12 are being encouraged to pursue higher education career of STEM field. And Vigyan Jyoti envisaged hand-holding and intervention right from the school level, that is class 9, and which will continue till PhD level, Doctor of Philosophy level, to encourage girls to pursue career in underrepresented areas of STEM. Navodaya Vidyalaya Samiti (NVS) is an autonomous organization of Ministry of Human Resource Development (MHRD), is the implementation partner of Vigyan Jyoti. And Navodaya Vidyalaya Samiti (NVS) has a network of Jawaharlal Navodaya Vidyalaya (JNVs) more than 600 districts of India at present, and 100 Jawaharlal Navodaya Vidyalayas are acting as Vigyan Jyoti knowledge centers to cater for girls for GNVs, KV Kendra Vidyalaya, government schools, army schools for small cities and rural areas of more diversity in STEM, which means that we can say that science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So this is all about the last question is here. UNESCO intangible cultural heritage can be manifested in which of the following domains? UNESCO intangible cultural heritage can be manifested in which of the following domain? Traditional craftsmanship, social practices, oral tradition expressions, knowledge and practice concerning a nature. So select the right answer. So the answer would be here. Intangible cultural heritage is in practice, representation, expression, knowledge or skill considered by UNESCO is a part of place cultural heritage. It is sometimes called living cultural heritage, and it manifested in the following domain among others: oral tradition expressions including language as a vehicle of intangible cultural heritage. So this is all about the session, guys. I hope you enjoyed YouTube session a lot. If you are new in this channel, please subscribe our channel and share to your friends and family group. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. And if you have any question, please let me know in the comment section. I hope you enjoy the YouTube session a lot. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much. Bye bye and take care. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much for joining with us.